With more than 100,000 people on the public housing list in Victoria, women and children fleeing domestic violence, older women and those who can't afford the private rental market have very few options.
We're virtually homeless then, so another good friend of mine, she said, how about you get a caravan put in my driveway? I said, you sure? So I did that and stayed there for 3 months in this ratty old caravan, but it worked. It's a wonder we didn't get really sick though, because we had mould all through it.
Women's housing tenants come from all walks of life. Susan was a corporate high flyer until she left work to care for her parents, then suffered a series of traumatic events.
In that year I lost my mother, my brother and my lover. It was not a good year. Didn't really recover. I've had major depression my entire life and diagnosed as bipolar. So wasn't medicated at the time and fell down in a screaming heap, pretty much just couldn't get up again. Really was living hand to mouth. I was in an apartment in Elwood which I just loved so much. That I couldn't afford. I was paying nearly $1,600 a month rent and I was on a disability pension. So honestly, everyone says, I don't know how you did it. I don't know how I did it. I don't know, except for living in total stress and living on things like frozen dim sum sometimes. I just didn't know. I didn't know there were alternatives. Because of the background I come from, I didn't understand there were systems in place for people in need. And I always thought they were for other people because they had a real need, women with children and trying to look after their families. I never saw myself as that person.
Another women's housing tenant escaped modern-day slavery in the home of her in-laws.
I was getting up 6 a.m, going to bed 1:30 a.m. in the morning. And I just had a C-section. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. But when my daughter turned 1, I just said I couldn't do it. Because now I have a daughter that is going to follow my footstep. So I left. I went from having 5 figures, like a salary base yearly, to now not having anything and a toddler at the time and with no home. I could not even comprehend that the idea of just being homeless all of a sudden. I sat in the waiting room and poured my eyes out. My daughter came to me, this when she was just 13 months, literally. And she wiped my tears and she said, Mom, it's okay. I felt like that day was gonna be the end of my life. That's how I felt because I felt so small, rejected, and quite judged.
The reason I love working on projects like this is the difference it makes to people's lives. I have seen so many people's lives changed, transformed, and really begin to flourish because they have a safe and secure place to call home.
There's 24 apartments, a mix of 1s and 2s, and they're a slightly larger size, but that connection from indoor to outdoor was a real focus. So balcony spaces, living spaces that are light-filled. We've got ceiling fans throughout, living spaces, bedrooms, and really maximising that sense of home and in connection within each residence to the outside.
Getting this place was really a godsend because then the pandemic just happened after that and the rest is history and we're quite happy living here. Lovely place, everything was new, brand new, no mess to clean up or anything like that, so that was the big bonus for us. Brand new place.
Sustainability is an important consideration for all women's housing developments.
We designed the building with sustainability front of mind, limiting the maintenance and costs, etc. of the outside of the building, so robust materials, low maintenance, no need for paint, etc. But then internally making sure that they were really high sustainable apartments, lots of thermally broken double glazed windows, passively ventilated, cool therm insulation to the roof to really maximise the efficiency of each residence, but also to minimise the costs and running costs for the tenants and also for the overall maintenance and running costs of the building for women's housing as a community housing provider.
The women and children are quite happy. They've formed a beautiful community within here. They support each other. They sometimes share food and, hand-me-down clothes, and it's really very nice. They look out for each other and they're quite happy. And for them to have a stable housing is really, really good. And it gives us a satisfaction to see them happy as well.
Everybody has the right to feel safe and secure and enjoy their lives and live their lives to the fullest. So women's housing makes an enormous difference.
So I burst into tears when I was shown this apartment. It was about 2 days after my birthday. I just walked in and was like, I can't believe I could have this. And my life changed again. This time I've never been so relaxed because I know I have a roof over my head and I can eat nice things. I can have fruit if I want.
Houses like this is really needed because they save life. They don't just save like a mother's life, they also save a very distressed person that has no willpower to live anymore, because I think the biggest failure in life is being able to give birth or being able to give life to someone and not being able to provide. Mine is probably just a minor story, but like being told that you have a home and just coming in and said, like, this is my home. It was just like, I rented before, but there's this different feeling about going through homelessness and then having a place to stay.
To tell these women and children who have gone through so much, look, this is the brand new unit and this is your forever home. You're going to be staying here forever. And they literally scream in joy. Some of them bring tears in their eyes. And to see them in all that moment and to having been a part to make a difference in their lives, it really is beautiful.